Have you ever set a big goal, only to feel overwhelmed and exhausted by the end of the journey? You're not alone. Studies show that 75% of people experience burnout at some point in their lives, and guess what? Goal setting is often at the heart of it. When we think about achieving our dreams, we imagine success, happiness, and fulfillment. But the reality can be much different. In fact, research from the American Psychological Association reveals that more than half of adults feel stressed about their goals. This stress can lead to anxiety and physical health problems. Why does this happen? It's because many people don't realize that not all goals are created equal. Some can actually drain your energy and motivation instead of boosting them. In this video, we'll dive into the hidden dangers of goal setting and how it can lead to burnout. You'll learn about the traps of over-ambitious goals, the pitfalls of perfectionism, and why hustle culture is hurting us more than helping. By the end, you'll discover practical strategies to set goals that energize you instead of depleting you. Get ready to transform your approach to goal setting and reclaim your passion for personal growth. Chapter 1. The hidden trap of over-ambitious goals. We've all heard it: shoot for the stars, or aim high. While ambition is great, there's a dark side to setting massive goals. It sounds motivating on the surface, but it often creates a trap. According to a study from the University of Scranton, only 8% of people actually achieve their New Year's goals. Why? Because when our goals are too big, they become overwhelming. Setting huge, unrealistic targets sets you up for failure. You're constantly chasing after something that feels just out of reach, which can lead to stress, anxiety, and, eventually, burnout. A common misconception is that if you're not pushing yourself to the max, you're not progressing. But the truth is, big goals without a clear plan can feel paralyzing. Instead of feeling excited, you get stuck in a cycle of frustration. The key is to focus on small, achievable milestones. Breaking down big goals into smaller, more manageable pieces helps build momentum. James Clear, in his book Atomic Habits, talks about the power of 1% improvement. Small, consistent progress is far more sustainable. This isn't about limiting your ambition, it's about setting goals in a way that won't leave you exhausted. When your goals feel achievable, you're more likely to stay motivated. Chapter 2. The Perfectionist's Pitfall. Why good enough beats perfect. Many of us fall into the perfectionist trap. We set sky-high standards, thinking that if our goals aren't perfectly executed, they're not worth achieving at all. But perfectionism is often a recipe for disaster. Brené Brown, in her book Daring Greatly, says, "Perfectionism is a 20-ton shield we carry around hoping it will protect us when, in fact, it's the thing that's really preventing us from being seen." The more we strive for perfection, the more we set ourselves up for failure. Why? Because perfection is an illusion. Aiming for perfect kills creativity and creates unnecessary pressure. Psychology Today reports that perfectionists are more prone to burnout because they're constantly stressed about not meeting their impossible standards. So, what's the alternative? Focus on progress, not perfection. If your goal is to start a business, instead of waiting for the perfect time or conditions, just get started. Launch that first draft of your website, knowing it doesn't have to be flawless. This is called the minimum viable product (MVP) strategy, popularized by tech startups. It's all about starting with good enough and improving over time. When you aim for progress, not only are you more likely to finish your goals, but you also enjoy the journey more. Remember, done is better than perfect. The more you focus on taking consistent action, the less likely you are to feel overwhelmed or burned out by your unrealistic expectations. Chapter 3. The Achievement High Crash. Why success feels empty. There's a strange phenomenon that happens after you reach a big goal. You get that rush of achievement, then suddenly, it feels like a letdown. That feeling of emptiness after success is more common than you'd think. Researchers call this post-achievement depression, and it's a form of emotional burnout. A study by the University of Chicago found that people often experience a sense of emptiness after achieving major goals because the high of success doesn't last long. After the initial excitement wears off, you're left asking, now what? You've been so focused on reaching the finish line that you haven't thought about what comes next. To avoid this, it's crucial to enjoy the process as much as the result. Instead of getting fixated on the end goal, try setting process goals. For example, if you're training for a marathon, don't just focus on the race day. Appreciate each training run and celebrate small wins along the way. This keeps your motivation going and reduces the risk of burnout after hitting that big milestone. A great quote from the book The Happiness Advantage by Sean Aker captures this perfectly. Happiness is not the belief that we don't need to change, it's the realization that we can. By finding joy in the process, you're less likely to feel deflated after achieving your goal. Another useful strategy is to have a next step ready before you hit your goal. This prevents the crash and gives you something new to aim for. Just make sure it's not another overwhelming, unrealistic goal. Aim for something that feels inspiring, not exhausting. If you're finding this information helpful, don't forget to subscribe. Stay tuned for more insights and strategies that can transform your goal-setting journey. Chapter 4. The Hustle Myth. When grinding becomes self-sabotage in today's world, we hear a lot about hustle culture. You know, the idea that if you're not constantly working or grinding, you're not achieving your full potential. This mindset can be dangerous. While hard work is important, there's a fine line between dedication and self-sabotage. Many people believe that more hours automatically lead to better results, but research shows the opposite. A study by the World Health Organization found that working 55 hours or more per week increases the risk of heart disease by 35% and stroke by 17%. Long hours can be a silent contributor to burnout, both physically and mentally. It's tempting to think that pushing through exhaustion will help you reach your goals faster, but it actually slows you down. When you're tired, your productivity drops, and mistakes happen more often. According to Dr. Matthew Walker, author of Why We Sleep, sleep deprivation lowers creativity, problem-solving skills, and overall cognitive performance. Simply put, you can't hustle your way out of exhaustion. Instead of buying into the hustle myth, focus on sustainable work habits. One strategy that helps is the Pomodoro technique. Work for 25 minutes, then take a 5-minute break. These short bursts of focused work help maintain your energy without overloading your brain. Another powerful technique is learning how to say no. If you're overcommitting yourself to projects, it's easy to feel overwhelmed and drained. Saying no to the wrong things frees up energy for what truly matters. Remember, working smart beats working hard every time. Tim Ferriss, in his book The 4-Hour Workweek, emphasizes the 80-20 principle, which suggests that 80% of your results come from 20% of your efforts. By focusing on the tasks that really move the needle, you can achieve more without grinding yourself into the ground. Chapter 5. Goal fatigue. When too many goals drain your mental energy, having multiple goals sounds productive, but there's a hidden danger: goal fatigue. When you try to juggle too many goals at once, it drains your mental energy and reduces your ability to focus. According to a study by Stanford University, multitasking reduces productivity by 40% and weakens cognitive control, which is crucial for staying on track. The problem with having too many goals is that your attention becomes scattered. Instead of giving your best effort to one or two key areas, you're spreading yourself thin across multiple projects. As a result, nothing gets your full attention. Over time, this leads to frustration and burnout. One effective solution is to prioritize. Ask yourself, which goals truly matter right now? A great technique for this is the Eisenhower matrix, which helps you categorize tasks into 4 quadrants: urgent, important, not urgent, and not important. This strategy forces you to focus on what's critical and let go of tasks that aren't immediately necessary. Also, consider the concept of seasonal goal setting. Just like nature has seasons, so should your goals. There's a time for planting seeds, and there's a time for harvesting results. Focusing on different goals at different times of the year can help you avoid burnout and keep your energy high. For example, you might focus on career goals during one season and personal development during another. Another helpful approach is to implement monthly goal reviews. Set aside time at the end of each month to assess your progress. Are you stretching yourself too thin? Is one goal taking more energy than anticipated? Use this review process to adjust your focus and realign with what truly matters. Chapter 6. Sustainable Success. How to reframe goals to fuel your energy. Burnout often happens when we view our goals as all or nothing. If you feel like you have to give 110% all the time, you're bound to run out of steam. But what if you reframed your goals to fuel your energy instead of draining it? The key here is balance and flexibility. One strategy is to shift from outcome-based goals to process-based goals. Instead of focusing solely on the end result, such as losing 20 pounds or getting promoted, focus on the daily habits that lead to those results. For instance, instead of aiming to lose weight, make a goal to exercise for 30 minutes every day. This way, you can find satisfaction in the journey, not just the destination. A unique approach that many high performers use is the concept of work-rest rhythms. Tony Schwartz, in his book The Power of Full Engagement, emphasizes the need to alternate between intense work periods and deep rest. He argues that we perform best when we honor the natural rhythms of energy in our bodies, working in cycles of about 90 minutes followed by short breaks. By structuring your day around these rhythms, you can avoid burnout and stay more focused. Another way to ensure sustainable success is to incorporate self-compassion into your goal-setting process. Dr. Kristen Neff, a leading researcher in this area, found that people who practice self-compassion are more resilient and less likely to suffer from burnout. This means that when you stumble or face setbacks, instead of being hard on yourself, you give yourself the space to learn and grow. This approach not only reduces stress but also improves long-term motivation. Finally, it's essential to celebrate small wins along the way. Studies show that recognizing even small achievements releases dopamine, the feel-good chemical in your brain, which boosts motivation and keeps you on track. So, whether you've ticked off a tiny task or made significant progress toward a larger goal, take a moment to acknowledge it. These little moments of success fuel your energy and make the bigger goals feel more achievable. In summary, setting sustainable goals requires balance, flexibility, and a focus on the process. By embracing work-rest rhythms, practicing self-compassion, and celebrating small wins, you can avoid burnout and keep your energy levels high, ensuring that your goals inspire and energize you, rather than exhaust you. If you found this content valuable, please subscribe for more insights and practical strategies to help you on your journey toward personal development and sustainable success.